Upon interrupting Bill and Danny's embrace, Haley offers biting words of support to her husband's ex-wife. She passively-aggressively notes the worry in the air. Why else would you drop in to visit Bill in the middle of a workday? After Danny leaves, Bill lashes out at Haley for twisting the knife about their children's possibility of getting cancer. She apologizes, but Bill doesn't let her off the hook. However, they have a lunch reservation, and he doesn't want to be late. At Orphe Jean's, Jessica continues to trash the cotillion and expresses relief over Nicole not returning her messages about it. Tyrell notes it doesn't seem like her, but points out his grandma has a lot going on. The only way Jessica figures that being a debutante wouldn't suck is if Tyrell were her escort. They can be miserable together. Speaking of cotillions, Kat and Samantha check in on Anita and share dress ideas for Samantha, despite Vernon's concern that it's too much for his wife after chemo. Danny drops in and privately talks to her father about how, despite his reservations, she needs to let Bill in on what's going on with her and their daughters. When they join the others, Anita admits her husband was right, and this was all a little much for her today. In his office, Ted confides in Eva about Kat refusing to get tested for the BRCA gene and how worried she is about Chelsea. He'd love for Eva to reach out to her, but he'd never ask that of her. However, Eva takes it upon herself to approach her half-sister at Orphe Jean's. She's there for her if she needs someone to talk to. Kat tells her to stay out of her business and her family. Eva declares that she did this for their father, but when the day comes and Kat does need her, she will throw her words right back in her face, dad or not. After spotting Ashley and Grayson flirting at the hospital, Naomi is all too happy to fill Shanice in on their date last night. Ashley reports it was different, but good. Really, really good. She uses changing up her usual ice cream order as a metaphor to describe how good being with someone new was. 3 times good, apparently. Shanice quips about Ashley landing the man everyone in the hospital wants, but warns about getting her butter from the same place she gets her bread. Ashley wonders who's buttering Dr. Richardson's bread. Not me, Shanice says a little too quickly. Ashley suggests she do something about that, which Shanice does when she coyly brings ice cream to Ted's office. Ted appreciates the afternoon delight and feeds Shanice, which leads to a passionate kiss. At Uptown, Jacob fills in Derek on Ashley's date. The fireman takes it fairly well, but does ask for details on who his ex is dating. Instead of indulging him, Jacob confides in his friend about Naomi getting tested for the BRCA gene. He fears it will make her shut down on him again. Derek knows they can get through anything because they're meant to be. Jacob doesn't believe in meant to be. A relationship works based on trust, communication, and the daily choices you make. Derek muses that sometimes it's hard to see what works and what doesn't when you're in the middle of it. Maybe that was his mistake with Ashley. No, Jacob bluntly says. Lying to her was your mistake. Derek takes that in stride as well, but is clearly affected when he sees Ashley flirting with Grayson at the hospital. Bill remains cool toward Haley as they sit for their country club reservation. When Naomi shows up with Jacob, she thanks Haley for her supportive text, which thaws Bill's icy attitude toward his wife. We'll hand it to Beyond the Gates. They sure know how to celebrate Martin Luther King Jr. Day. CBS newest Sudser is airing a special episode, Beyond the Gates, Inside Fairmont Crest, on Monday, January 19th, and peeling back the curtain with a look at all of the first season's explosive drama. Plus, the actors are sitting down to talk things out, and as Carla Mosley jokes in an exclusive clip, there is plenty to air out. I have punched you, she laughs, pointing towards Marquita Goings. I'm so sorry, I slapped you, she adds, of Timon Kyle Durrett. I terrorized you both at gunpoint, and she turns towards Sean Freeman, have had tea with you more times than I can count. That's one way of putting it, but that's just the start. There's the rivalry between Danny's hubby, Andre, and her ex, Bill. Then there's how Haley was best friends with Danny and Bill's eldest daughter, Naomi, before she went and slept with her dad. And, well, how about just checking it out below? Still, it's not all backstabbing, besties, and betrayal. The show's also about family in a big way. In fact, That's how it started, way back in episode 1. As Tamara Tooney recalls, introducing herself and the Duprees, Clifton Davis, Daphne Duplay, and Mosley. She then asks if they remembered that first big scene, where Anita shared her gratitude for the Duprees gathered around her. "I wasn't acting," Tooney shared, "because I truly felt so proud of each and every one of you." And those words meant a lot, not just to her, but to everyone who shared in that momentous first episode. Colby Natasha Nixon looks back with a laugh, recalling how nervous she was. But as Brandon Claybun tells Tooney, "The words that you were saying, it calmed me. I was like, no, this is my family. I'm gonna be okay." You can see the whole thing below. And that, of course, is just a taste of Beyond the Gates' look behind the scenes of Fairmount Crest. So, whether you're new and thinking about jumping in, or have been watching since day one, check out Monday's special episode to get all the tea. Hey, there's a reason we ranked it the best soap of 2025. The Friday, January 16th. Spoilers for Beyond the Gates focus on Chelsea dropping major news while Ted and Shanice heat things up. Meanwhile, Isaiah comforts and supports Eva during a time of need. The weekly spoilers reveal Chelsea has major news to share with her family. Now this could simply be the test results she has been waiting patiently for. She could be carrying the BRCA gene, in which case she would need to determine her next steps. However, ever since her grandmother's cancer diagnosis and her mom discovered she carried the BRCA gene, Chelsea has been rethinking her life. She even discussed her thoughts with Madison, who was surprised to hear Chelsea's take. The handbag designer said this crisis is helping her realize she didn't want to play things safe. She even talked about how she used to go to the airport and just pick a destination. She wanted to mix things up. As a result, Madison looked worried. Should we be worried about Chelsea's major news? It's 2026, and a certain busted love triangle is looking a lot different. Leslie is having fun and a little danger with Detective Marcel Malone, although she still has her eye on Teddy. Nicole is having her own fun as she dates Carlton, and the Ted and Shanice romance has been progressing nicely. On Friday, the plastic surgeon and the supervising nurse continue to grow closer. Look for things to heat up between Shanice and Ted. Naomi's emotions are understandably all over the place with what her grandmother and mother are going through, and she's waiting for those results herself. Things could change even more if the test results come back positive. Naomi is a Dupree woman after all. They like to be in control, and when something happens that sends them spiraling, they don't always handle it well. The teasers suggest that Naomi feels pressured by Jacob, and when that happens, how will she react? If history is any indication, a massive conflict is likely to erupt. Perhaps the two should book an emergency appointment with their therapist to help them out. Over the holidays, Isaiah and Eva grew closer. She might have tried to sabotage their relationship at one point, but they got through it. On Thursday, she experiences some family drama, and on Friday, she must deal with some fallout. It's a good thing she has Isaiah around to comfort her. Finally, Derek does not like what he sees, which means he could spot Ashley with Grayson. The two quickly hit it off the other day. So much so, they're already going out on another date. If this scenario were to happen, what would Derek do about what he sees? Was Ashley calling off their engagement his villainous origin story? Beyond the Gates spoilers imply that Bradley, Smitty Smith, and Martin Richardson have always approved of Tyrell Richardson's girlfriend, Jessica. Still, will her influence end up tearing him away from his two dads and the rest of the Duprees? Jessica is a nice girl with good values. She obviously went against her peers when Tyrell was being bullied, and his bad attitude was what halted their teen romance the first time around. With that said, she also has very strong opinions on some of the things his family holds dear. Martin and Vernon Dupree were hoping Tyrell would attend Banneker University, close to Fairmount Crest. However, Jessica wants to leave the little town and head to UCLA, so Tyrell is starting to contemplate that college option. There was also an issue that arose between the young couple during the week of January 5th and 9th. While Tyrell's sister, Samantha Richardson, is excitedly gearing up for the cotillion, Jessica is disgusted by the event and believes it to be elitist. Tyrell now seems hesitant on participating in the gala when his entire family will be there. The drama surrounding Jessica, her opinions, and her strong influence on Tyrell may spiral over the weeks and months, especially as the two submit college applications. The cotillion is one small issue the couple faces, but the bigger picture here is how bad Jessica wants to leave Fairmont Crest behind, and how much Tyrell wants to follow her, simply to keep their relationship intact. Jessica is Tyrell's first love, and because of all the feelings that flutter around a first romance, it'll be hard to make a decision that goes against her plans. He may want to go to Banneker, but if Jessica insists on UCLA, will Tyrell leave home and his family behind to head to Los Angeles? Only time will tell. What do you think of Jessica? Will she come between Tyrell and his family when all is said and done? Comment your thoughts below. Watch Beyond the Gates on CBS Daily and visit this site for more doggy fun, tips, and information. Beyond the Gates is doing important work in raising awareness about breast cancer through a storyline that will resonate with many viewers, and that work is extending beyond the screen. The CBS daytime drama has partnered with the Know Your Lemons Foundation for a campaign geared toward bridging the mortality gap between Black and white women with this disease, as well as educating viewers about the BRCA gene. The campaign is centered on Anita's storyline and its impact on the Dupree family. It will also include public service announcements designed to provide viewers with information and resources like the Know Your Lemons app that are invaluable for becoming knowledgeable about their breast health and supporting early detection of breast cancer. Anita's breast cancer storyline began with her diagnosis of triple-negative breast cancer. BTG viewers are going to be with her every step of the way as she goes through chemotherapy, and her daughters and grandchildren get the BRCA gene test. TNBC is an aggressive form of invasive breast cancer, and it differs from other types of this invasive disease due to its faster growth and spread. This means there are few treatment options, and the prognosis for the patient can be worse. The soap is not going to shy away from the reality of Anita's journey, which will include how chemotherapy affects her physically and mentally. She'll be dealing with hair loss and the toll the treatment will have on her body. The form of cancer that Anita has is most common in Black women, but lack of awareness and access to resources has played a part in the mortality gap between Black and white women with this disease. BTG, in partnership with Know Your Lemons, is looking to combat this issue through storytelling. The soap opera will also spotlight the impact that the BRCA gene test results will have on the Duprees. Testing positive for the BRCA gene alters health expectations and heightens concern about developing cancer in the future. Preventive care becomes a part of the conversation in a way that can be both emotional and confronting. In discussing the intent behind the campaign, executive producers Michelle Valjean and Tracy Thompson had the following to say: "Our goal is to tell a story that raises awareness about the prevalence of triple-negative breast cancer and the importance of regular screenings to aid in early detection. Beyond that, we want to encourage and empower women to take an active role in their own breast health. You are your own best advocate." During BTG's breast cancer storyline, PSAs raising awareness about the disease will run. The first PSA aired on January 1st and featured soap stars Carla Mosley and Daphne Duplay. The actresses cite that 85% of people who are diagnosed with breast cancer don't have a family history of the disease, and that a lump may not be the only indicator that someone has it. There are 12 signs that people should know, especially Black women who are more likely to develop breast cancer at a younger age. Mosley and Duplay also direct viewers to the Know Your Lemons app, where they can develop a custom breast plan. A second PSA is scheduled to run as this months-long storyline about breast cancer airs on CBS. Dr. Corinne Ellsworth Beaumont, CEO and founder of the Know Your Lemons Foundation, shared the following statement about BTG and the charity's campaign. "The app is the nonprofit's way of enhancing early breast cancer detection by creating and promoting innovative and inclusive educational methods for the public. The award-winning Know Your Lemons app has reached over 2 billion people worldwide, and it provides accessible and visual breast health knowledge to users." Here are your spoilers for Beyond the Gates. On Friday, January 16th, 2026. It's Friday, soap fans, And here we go with the end of the week goodies. In Friday's episode, Chelsea has major news to share with her family. This BRCA gene testing has really hit every aspect of the show, and we are at home feeling these fictional characters we have grown to love. Chelsea's news will likely have as much impact as the initial phone calls Danny and Nicole received. Naomi and Jacob used to be the couple that could be depended on to bring laughter and a sense of safety and reliability. Not so much anymore, as all they seem to do now is argue and fight. In Friday's episode, Naomi feels pressured by Jacob. Maybe if Naomi talked to her husband, like they used to, and they found their way back, they could actually solve what's going wrong in their relationship. In Friday's episode, Isaiah comforts Eva. So far, this couple is showing all the signs of being the real deal, and this relatively slow burn is looking good. No rushing things. Eva having someone she can lean on when things are rough is amazing and exactly what she needs, as one thing is for sure in Fairmont Crest. Drama and Kat are only a doorstep or an episode away. While one new couple is looking great and another does not. Well, from one person's point of view, anyway. In Friday's episode, things heat up for Ted and Shanice, while Derek does not like what he sees. Ted and Shanice, I have said since the elevator incident, look amazing together and make such a neat, wholesome couple that you can really disseminate. Ashley has moved on as well, it would appear, if the scenes with her new colleagues say anything. Grayson Perez, played by Jordi Villasuso, is doing a great job of distracting Ashley from the Derek saga she left behind. Speaking of Derek, seeing Ashley with Grayson definitely stirs up some feelings. Will we see a dark Derek emerge? Make sure to check out The Scoop and the next week's sneak peek for a deeper look into what's to come this week and what you have to look forward to from your favorite characters and not-so-favorite characters in the DMV. Ever since Greg Vaughn showed up, Beyond the Gates has been literally buzzing with life. Fans sure remember how thrilled they were when his casting was revealed. His first appearance as Dr. Kial Rollins in early December reignited the hopes of having him in the show for a longer period. However, the audience is left wondering what happened to the character that he suddenly disappeared from the scene. Keep scrolling to learn more. When Greg Vaughn joined the show, it felt like a small comeback moment for him. It's because he had previously spoken about going through an acting dry spell after Days of Our Lives stopped using him. And after he was cast, people's interest also increased. It's because people were familiar with his past roles, and it looked like this time he was stepping onto something more promising. He debuted on December 8th, 2025 on the show. After that, he appeared again shortly after. However, he was a part of the show for only 2 episodes in early December. Later, he faded out of the on-screen story. And so people were curious, as soaps usually bring in a new character with a clear direction. However, Kayal had only a few episodes without any follow-up scenes. Elsewhere, Vaughn had explained his status before. He said he wasn't on contract. Moreover, he and Michelle were still figuring out how things would work. In fact, he felt free creatively, and he didn't stress about the irregular schedule. However, he said he would take a contract if offered. It's because he felt a sense of hunger for acting, as it had been missing for a long time. Within the storyline, Kial's absence is justifiable, as his character is a traveling doctor, and so the show can bring in whenever needed. And it would not even disrupt the pacing of other characters. It's also connected to the romantic setup that the soap had teased earlier. It involves Kial, Nicole, and Carlton. To date, Carlton and Nicole have mostly played the love triangle, and their pair has been getting more attention while Kial is off-screen. However, hints say Kial would eventually return. He is on recurring status, that means viewers will have to wait longer between his appearances. For more Beyond the Gates spoilers and updates, keep following Soap Opera Daily. Trouble is escalating quickly in Beyond the Gates next week. Joey's entrance into a meeting might disrupt all the things he thought he was in control of. On the other hand, Haley's strategy is veering toward a shady direction, and Leslie's love story is risking dangerous situations. At the same time, friends are making efforts to support each other. Continue to scroll for more information. Joey talks with Bill about a legal matter, And the timing matters because he had agreed to do business with Leslie only after Vanessa pushed him into it. At first, he was not comfortable at all. But now, he even shares the dilemma of how to get through the next step. He needs to have clarity before taking another step. But is it something related to the business dealings with Leslie? Meanwhile, Haley is continuing with what she has planned. She wants Bill out of her way, and she is trying to keep her pieces in place. Moreover, there's also a hint that things could shift. It can happen if Bill starts to notice anything. However, nothing confirms it. The focus is wholly on Haley doing exactly what she wants to do, without even hesitating. She is determined to carry it out completely. Elsewhere, Leslie's romantic moment will also get risky. This is the one where she has Marcel's weapon with her, and it's the same one that had appeared in the promo. It feels like the situation will become more serious. Vanessa arrives for a friend who needs her, and it's likely Nicole. Moreover, she doesn't wait around to decide. Elsewhere, Pamela stays with Danny. It's after Danny learns she has tested positive for the BRCA gene. Moreover, Danny is not happy about it, and so Pamela stays by her side while Danny is trying to deal with the news. It's just two friends handling something difficult together. These are the moments that unfold on January 14th. Joey is dealing with his own uncertainty. Elsewhere, Haley pushes her plan ahead. Meanwhile, Leslie is facing a dangerous moment. Vanessa will offer support, and Pamela is a true friend to Danny. For more Beyond the Gates. Spoilers and updates, keep following Soap Opera Daily. On Monday, Jan 19, Beyond the Gates will air a behind-the-scenes look back at its first season, according to Soaps.com. The episode will be entitled Beyond the Gates, Inside Fairmont Crest. In a clip from What's to Come, the show's stars reminisced about the first episode. Tamara Tooney, who plays matriarch Anita Dupree, recalled the moment in episode 1 when Anita shared how much she valued each member of the family. She said, "The actors playing the Dupree grandchildren then delved into how they adjusted to working as part of the cast and their relationships." Check out what they had to say below. Beyond the Gates newcomer Grayson Perez looks set to shake up Ashley Morgan's life. The lab tech and the nurse are each other's love interests on the soap. But while Villasuso is a newcomer to BTG, he's a soap vet. Of course, he previously starred as Tony on Guiding Light and as Ray on The Young and the Restless. Both on the Tiffany network. What made Villasuso want to come back to daytime? It was a big draw that BTG is the first new soodser on TV in decades, and it's on his old network home. And while he's teaming up with a newbie to the genre in Jacob in front of the camera, Villasuso is working with quite a few familiar faces behind the scenes. Hanan Carruthers served as a producer on various series. She was an EP at All My Children. Blangiardo and Williford also have directed a number of shows, including AMC, Days of Our Lives, and Y&R. Danny arrives at the country club and takes a seat when she is confronted by Haley. She takes a seat and immediately gives her shit about having the BRCA gene and says she has Chelsea and Naomi's test results. Just then, Danny awakens from her daydream and finds Pamela in front of her, trying to hand her an envelope. Pamela has a card for Anita with photos of Danny and Anita from various fashion shows. Pamela goes back and asks what she walked up on, and Danny fills her in on the Haley daydream. Danny goes on to update Pamela on the cancer repercussions and her own positive BRCA test. Pamela wishes she had chosen any other place besides this one for her BRCA gene reveal. That being said, she knows Danny, as extraordinary as she is, does not have anything as horrific as cancer. Danny needed the Pamela of it all, to take her mind off everything. She is there to distract her in whatever way she needs. Danny is down, but says they now have to wait for Chelsea and Naomi's test results. Pamela thinks someone should write a condolence card to cancer, as the disease has no idea whose front door they've knocked on. Nicole awakens on her sofa with a headache and flashes back to the night before with Carlton. She looks up and is surprised to find Vanessa there with coffee. She has her friend all set up with the best hangover care package, along with a note from Carlton. Vanessa asks for a few details, and Nicole tells her about Danny testing positive. Vanessa understands how devastating this news could be, but thinks Danny has been given a chance. She also doesn't think Nicole should be wallowing in guilt. Vanessa thinks she should focus on Carlton and the happiness that possibly awaits. They move along to talking about Joey. Nicole promises to try and be more supportive, even though she worries about her friend's safety. Vanessa wants her and Joey to go out with Nicole and Carlton. Nicole isn't so sure, as she thinks her behavior the prior evening probably scared her away. Vanessa thinks she is underestimating her new beau. Later, Nicole arrives at the hospital and runs into Carlton. They get a little flirty, as she says she needs to hit up an infusion IV. The duo decide to meet up later when Nicole asks if he wants to go out on a double date with Vanessa and Joey Armstrong. Haley is sitting in Bill's office when he arrives with Orphe jeans for Chelsea. Haley hands him the poisoned herbal tea as he says Chelsea and Naomi are awaiting their test results. He refuses the tea and says he isn't drinking any more of her poison. He says too much of anything can kill you, but Haley thinks every sip of tea will bring them closer to all they ever wanted. Joey arrives to see Leslie at Uptown, annoyed to have been summoned. He says once the free clinic paperwork is filed, they are done talking. She notes the Leslie Thomas Outreach Project is going to be a long-term proposition. Joey says that won't be the name, and the only reason he is funding anything is because of Vanessa. Joey gets all kinds of threatening before grabbing his coat and making his exit. Joey walks in and says he is there for a little legal advice. With that, Haley makes her exit. Afterwards, Joey asks Bill to write up contracts to make sure a new business venture doesn't cause him to crash and burn. He notes he is funding a memorial clinic in honor of Doug. Bill is almost giddy as he remembers this man was trying to take Joey down before his untimely death, but still wonders why he is there. Joey says he is there about his business partner, Leslie Thomas. Bill can't believe Joey would get involved with a menace like Leslie. Joey doesn't want to talk about it, so he passes off the contract Leslie gave him. He says there is just one small change in the language he wants to make. Danny arrives to see Bill because she wants to thank him for not being an ass and showing up for her and the girls, as it means more than he knows. Bill says there is nowhere else he would rather be. Afterwards, Danny embraces her ex-husband, and Bill says he's got her. Just then, Haley walks in and kindly asks Danny to take her hands off her husband. Joey shows up at the country club and fills Vanessa in on his meetings with Leslie and Bill. Joey says all the trouble with Leslie will be better when they break ground on the free clinic dedicated to Doug McBride. Vanessa is thrilled, as she never imagined he would do such a thing in a million years. Joey says he wanted to honor Doug the man, as it will change lives the way he did. Marcel arrives and joins Leslie, and the two immediately get all kinds of flirty. He wishes he could join, but is there to meet someone who has news about his boat, Sheila. Marcel decides to take a seat, and the duo just get hotter and hotter. Leslie wonders if Marcel will be teaching her how to tiptoe down the straight and narrow or head down a more nefarious path. With that, the two kiss. With that, Marcel decides Sheila can wait, but Leslie can't. Leslie catches sight of Marcel's gun, and they make a few jokes about him packing heat. She takes the gun from his holster and points it at the wall. He notes she knows her way around a firearm before removing it from her grasp. With that, Ms. Leslie gets to getting naked. Here's what's coming up on Beyond the Gates for Friday, January 16th, 2026. Naomi feels pressured, while Isaiah comforts Eva. And that's not all. Read on as soap opera news breaks down the day's events for you. Chelsea has some major news to share with her family, and it is bound to raise more than a few questions. One has to wonder if this update has anything to do with her BRCA gene testing. Since her mother carries the gene, both Chelsea and Naomi were tested, so could the results finally be in? And if that is what Chelsea is about to reveal, will the news be good or bad? Meanwhile, speaking of Naomi, she is feeling the pressure from Jacob, and it is starting to weigh on her. Why is he pushing so hard? And what exactly is he doing to make her feel backed into a corner? For now, all anyone can do is wait and see. Elsewhere in Fairmont Crest, Isaiah steps in to comfort Eva when she needs it most. At the same time, sparks begin to fly for Ted and Shanice, and things between them start heating up in a big way. Beyond the Gates spoilers for January 16th, 2026, also tease that Derek does not like what he sees. That raises a big question. Could he spot Ashley moving on with Grayson? And if so, will jealousy push Derek to react in a way he might later regret? That's all for Beyond the Gates spoilers for January 16th, 2026. Which storyline are you most excited about? Share your thoughts in the comments and check back tomorrow for more drama and surprises. Get the weekly BTG spoilers. Beyond the Gates airs weekdays on CBS. The Friday, January 16th, spoilers for Beyond the Gates focus on Chelsea dropping major news while Ted and Shanice heat things up. Meanwhile, Isaiah comforts and supports Eva during a time of need. The weekly spoilers reveal Chelsea has major news to share with her family. Now this could simply be the test results she has been waiting patiently for. She could be carrying the BRCA gene, in which case she would need to determine her next steps. However, ever since her grandmother's cancer diagnosis and her mom discovered she carried the BRCA gene, Chelsea has been rethinking her life. She even discussed her thoughts with Madison, who was surprised to hear Chelsea's take. The handbag designer said this crisis is helping her realize she didn't want to play things safe. She even talked about how she used to go to the airport and just pick a destination. She wanted to mix things up. As a result, Madison looked worried. Should we be worried about Chelsea's major news? It's 2026, and a certain busted love triangle is looking a lot different. Leslie is having fun and a little danger with Detective Marcel Malone, although she still has her eye on Teddy. Nicole is having her own fun as she dates Carlton, and the Ted and Shanice romance has been progressing nicely. On Friday, the plastic surgeon and the supervising nurse continue to grow closer. Look for things to heat up between Shanice and Ted. Naomi's emotions are understandably all over the place with what her grandmother and mother are going through. And she's waiting for those results herself. Things could change even more if the test results come back positive. Naomi is a Dupree woman after all. They like to be in control, and when something happens that sends them spiraling, they don't always handle it well. The teaser suggests that Naomi feels pressured by Jacob, and when that happens, how will she react? If history is any indication, a massive conflict is likely to erupt. Perhaps the two should book an emergency appointment with their therapist to help them out. Over the holidays, Isaiah and Eva grew closer. She might have tried to sabotage their relationship at one point, but they got through it. On Thursday, she experiences some family drama, and on Friday, she must deal with some fallout. It's a good thing she has Isaiah around to comfort her. Finally, Derek does not like what he sees, which means he could spot Ashley with Grayson. The two quickly hit it off the other day. So much so, they're already going out on another date. If this scenario were to happen, what would Derek do about what he sees? Was Ashley calling off their engagement his villainous origin story? Wednesdays Beyond the Gates delivers a tightly packed episode where private fears, risky alliances, and dangerous secrets quietly collide. As Danny struggles with the emotional fallout of her BRCA diagnosis, Haley continues to operate behind the scenes, maintaining a calm exterior while advancing a far more calculated agenda. Bill finds himself pulled in multiple directions, offering legal support to Joey while remaining an emotional anchor for Danny, a moment that does not go unnoticed. Elsewhere, Joey grows wary of his partnership with Leslie and seeks legal safeguards, unaware that Leslie's personal life is veering into risky territory. A chance encounter leads Leslie into an intimate situation that reveals more than she expected, raising questions about trust and control. Meanwhile, Nicole grapples with guilt and recovery, as Vanessa steps in with support and optimism, pushing for connection rather than retreat. By the end of the day, emotional boundaries blur, tensions surface openly, and several relationships appear poised for significant fallout. The day begins at the country club. Danny drifts into a daymare. She imagines Haley mocking her about the BRCA gene. Pamela snaps her out of it. Haley, meanwhile, is already at work. At Bill's office, she quietly doses his tea. Bill jokes about her poison, then drinks it anyway. Haley plays the concerned stepmother. She asks about his family troubles. Bill encourages her to reach out to Naomi. Haley immediately texts Naomi, saying she wants to fix things. Joey meets with Leslie. The conversation turns tense. Leslie wants Joey to be more involved in the clinic than he expected. Joey is uncomfortable. He leaves frustrated and heads straight to Bill. At the office, Joey asks Bill for legal protection in his partnership with Leslie. He wants safeguards written into the agreement. Bill openly disapproves of Joey working with Leslie and of honoring Doug. Still, he agrees to help. Joey asks for one specific change in the contract language. Bill is amused and intrigued. Later, Joey meets Leslie again at Uptown. Leslie drinks a mimosa. Joey lets his sit untouched. The mood is strained. Joey soon steps away. Marcel takes his seat. He and Leslie flirt easily. The two leave together and go back to Leslie's hotel room. As things turn intimate, Leslie's hand finds Marcel's holstered gun. She pulls it free and examines it closely. The moment shifts. Marcel is caught off guard. Leslie remains calm and in control. Across town, Nicole wakes up hungover on her couch. Vanessa is already there. She brings an Americano and burnt toast. Carlton has left a note telling Nicole to take 2 and call him later. Nicole admits she drank too much the night before. She explains why. Nicole tested negative for the BRCA gene. Danny did not. The guilt is crushing. Vanessa urges Nicole not to spiral. She encourages her to lean on the people who care about her. The conversation turns to Vanessa's love life. Nicole agrees she has been unfairly judgmental about Joey. Vanessa suggests a double date. Nicole worries she embarrassed herself with Carlton. Vanessa is confident he will understand. She is proven right at the hospital. Nicole runs into Carlton. They joke easily. The tension is gone. Carlton asks her out for a drink. Nicole agrees, but makes one request. She asks him to go on a double date with Vanessa and Joey. Carlton is stunned but intrigued. Joey later meets Vanessa at the country club. He tells her the clinic will be dedicated to Doug. Vanessa is overwhelmed with emotion. She looks forward to telling her children. Joey flashes back to Marcel, reminding him that he played a role in Vanessa becoming a widow. Vanessa thanks Leslie for agreeing to the dedication. Joey insists he can handle Leslie. His confidence contrasts sharply with Leslie's growing control elsewhere. Pamela later lifts Danny's spirits with her over-the-top support. Danny then goes to Bill's office. She thanks him for being there for her and the girls. Bill assures her there is nowhere else he wants to be. Danny clings to him. He holds her and promises he has her back. Haley walks in and sees the embrace. She clears her throat loudly. Her anger is immediate. She demands that Danny remove her hands from her husband.